Firstly, I want to condemn the horrible attacks that happened on the IPAS Centre in Drogheda. I want to welcome the fact that the government have done such a U-turn in relation to immigration and the rhetoric change. And it is quite incredible to be here sitting, listening to an immigration debate, that you yourselves and the comments that are made from Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael TDs, that you would have called racist just a year ago. I mean, where was the critical thinking? Where was the independent thought a year or 2 years ago? And it's amazing to hear you now speak and raising concerns, talking about a firm and fair immigration system, something we spoke about for a very long time, but were condemned by government. So I'm glad that Simon Harris has made a U-turn and finally allowed some common sense and critical thinking into this debate. I think it's very ironic as well, it must be said, that you are condemning the Social Democrats and the Labour Party for trying to censor debate, which I believe is wrong, that you yourself engaged in just a few months ago. And it is important that I want to welcome you to the side of common sense, to critical thinking, and indeed to law and order, because we know that the IPAS system has been abused for far too long. Abuse in terms of applicants coming from the north, a safe country, into Ireland. Abuse in terms of destroying travel documents in which you did nothing about. Nothing, because you were incapable of even having a rational discussion on that topic. That was something that could easily have been solved, but this House refused to speak about it. Economic migrants using and abusing the IPAS system. This should have been addressed several years ago. The fact that you have taken over, in many cases, the last remaining hotel in so many towns and villages. And deportation orders that are never enforced. In fact, last year, over 2,500 deportation orders were issued, and you enforced just over 100. Less than 5%. That is the reality. And you wouldn't think that from listening to Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael TDs here this evening. And that is not to even mention the utter abuse of taxpayers' money when it comes to the IPAS system. The Controller and Auditor General report outlined a litany of abuse of taxpayers' money, including over €7.5 million wrongly charged on VAT. That is what you have presided over. Now, I welcome the fact that we are now finally moving to a stage where we can actually discuss this topic. But it is important that you realise that you have created this chaos, you have presided over this chaos, and now it is crucially important that you actually implement the rational steps that seek to improve the situation and address the chaos that you have allowed to preside over.
Thank you, Deputy.